A writer named David Rosen has an article in Counterpunch called Permanent War, Permanent Failure. And he breaks down the post-World War II U.S. foreign policy and what it ends up costing us. So let's go through some of it, and then you'll see just how disastrous this is. So they say President Trump rants about North Korea are the clearest example of the U.S. political military's failed policy of permanent war. Since the end of World War II, the U.S. has promoted numerous military confrontations, covert counter-revolutions, political coups, and assassinations of designated enemies or security threats. To facilitate this aggressive policy, the U.S. maintains about 800 military bases worldwide, including 174 base sites in Germany, 113 in Japan, and 83 in South Korea, all former World War II enemy states. The permanent war is a direct extension of President Dwight Eisenhower's legendary 1961 farewell address warning of the military-industrial complex. In 1970, Seymour Melman relabeled it Pentagon capitalism, and most recently, the libertarian economists Thomas Duncan and Christopher Coyne dubbed it the permanent war economy. Duncan and Coyne identify three key interest groups: unions, industry, military, that drive permanent war. It arose from the dual crises of the Great Depression and World War II and become an essential and permanent feature of corporate capitalism. Between the early 50s and the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Latin America was littered with the corpses of victims of U.S. military and CIA clandestine interventions. They included CIA's overthrowing of Guatemala's elected government in 1954, the U.S.-backed dictatorship of Papa Doc and Baby Doc Duvalier in Haiti, which was from 57 to 86, U.S.-orchestrated military coup in Brazil in 64, U.S. military occupation of the Dominican Republic 65 to 66, U.S. orchestrated military coup of socialist government Salvador Allende in Chile, 73, U.S.-backed Contra Army in Nicaragua to suppress the Sandinistas, 74 to 79, and U.S.-backed military, including death squads in El Salvador in 79 to 92, and then there were the two great U.S. military victories in the permanent war in Grenada, 1983, and Panama, 89 to 90. To maintain the failed state of permanent war, the U.S. spends close to $1 trillion annually to fund the military and intelligence apparatus. Now, then he goes on to give a specific breakdown of the dollar amount, how you come to that $1 trillion when you include the CIA, you include the intelligence agencies, you include the amount of Pentagon spending, so on and so forth. So, first of all, let's digest all the interventions we just went through, and we're just getting started with those interventions. I mean, they're just, that's just the surface, that's just an appetizer going through the places in South America where we were directly involved and did interventions, did CIA coups and whatnot. Now, a lot of Americans don't even know that. They're like, what? Wait, what? We were involved in the Dominican Republic and Chile and all these places? Yeah. See, this is what I mean when I talk about post-World War II. U.S. foreign policy has been unbelievable. I mean, it's just, we've been fucking everywhere and gotten involved everywhere and overthrown democratic governments and put in fascist puppets because we were so afraid of the big bad Soviet Union and some version of communism coming to a place nearby that we would overthrow democratic governments. They weren't even communist governments, democratic governments, and put in fascists and say, it's better than these people having the self-determination to pick whoever they want as their leader. A lot of people don't even know America did that. Which, by the way, this helps put into context why so many people view the United States as the biggest threat to world peace. Because it's not like since then, it's cool. Now the dynamics have changed on the global scene. No, they haven't. We're still the world's only superpower, and we still have those 900-plus military bases. We still spend $100 billion a year just to maintain those military bases, and now you know the overall number to keep the empire going. I'll say it one more time. The U.S. spends close to $1 trillion annually, to fund the military and intelligence apparatus. $1 trillion every year. That is so crazy. You know what you could do with that money, man? you could almost wipe out student loan debt or credit card debt. If you want to talk about putting money towards a Medicare for all system or a free college system, I mean, our infrastructure gets a grade of D+. You think maybe we could use some of that money here? Half the country makes $30,000 a year or less. And we're spending $1 trillion of tax money to keep an empire going that the American people, many of them don't even know what's going on. But if they did, they'd be against it. Only 17% of the American people still want to be in Afghanistan. And that was as of 2013. So it's only fewer now. It's less now. $1 trillion a year. Did I sign up for this? Did you sign up for this? At what point did we say, yeah, go ahead, take my tax money? We don't even have universal health care. We have people that die in this country because they don't have access to basic health care. But you and I pay taxes, and $1 trillion a year goes to maintain an empire. If you're not outraged, it's because you're not paying attention. We got to fight back against this because this is like the definition of injustice. And this is just stupid. It's stupid to create all these enemies around the world and kill so many civilians and waste our money and waste the lives of U.S. soldiers. And we need to retool our economy completely and become a manufacturing powerhouse again and create all these good middle-class jobs and reinvest in our own country and update our infrastructure. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to continue to be like this. And nobody, the fiscal hawks, the fiscal conservatives, the deficit hawks, nobody's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't waste all this money over there. No, on that front, to be fair, the libertarians say, let's not do that. But all the other so-called deficit hawks are like, we just grandfather in the military stuff. And then we berate, poor mothers on welfare who are just trying to feed their kids. Well, maybe you need a realignment of your priorities, and the entire country does. People don't know this, man. Where's the mainstream media talking about this, too? Corporate media. Where's CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, please? Where are they? Hey, maybe we shouldn't spend $1 trillion a year to invade random places and have bases all over the place for no goddamn reason. Wouldn't it be nice if they said that? But you're not going to get that. The only place you get that is here and various new media outlets, Humanist Report, Jimmy Dore Show, so on and so forth. So, and by the way, and this is why it's very important, you got to support independent media. I don't want to turn this into, some sort of cheap advertisement or something. But the reality is, YouTube adpocalypse never went away, by the way. It never went away. It's just we stopped harping on it because we harped on it for weeks on end, and we thought you guys, okay, we don't want to wear the audience out on this front. But the reality is it never went away, and in fact, it's even getting worse now. So, and I just heard from David Pakman the other day. He's like, holy shit, do you see what's happening? So it's a terrible situation. The ad dollars are just flowing away from us. And it just so happens to be we're the only people talking about real shit. And the ad dollars flow away from us and go right to the people who are continuing the bullshit talking points and to not question the status quo and the underpinnings of society. Well, that's what we're here to do, and you're not going to fucking silence us because now the overwhelming majority of our funding comes from you guys, the viewers. So I appreciate it so much. Every single one of the patrons. For those of you who haven't helped us out, it's patreon.com/seculartalk. Look, just $2 a month is all I ask for. That means the world. It's like you buy me a cup of coffee once a month. That's basically what it is. And that means everything. That's what keeps us going. So I love you guys. I really appreciate it. And we literally would not be able to do the show without you.